I came back after 10 days away, and the first thing I saw wasn't my cabin. It was a steel gate stretching across the only road and cameras glaring down like vultures aimed straight at my dad's old bedroom window. A woman with a clipboard stood there smug as if she owned the whole lake, telling me I'd violated community peace. My own driveway was blocked, my livelihood cut off, and all I could think was, how the hell did this happen while I was gone? My name's Lucas Miller, and that cabin by the lake isn't just a house. My dad built it with his bare hands when I was 10. Every board, every nail, he'd say, had to earn its place. I run short-term rentals there now. It pays the taxes, the bills, keeps food on my table. When I left, everything was fine. When I returned, there was a wall between me and everything I'd worked for. And standing in front of it was Valerie Knox, our HOA president, your classic suburban Karen, in a power suit, fake smile, and enough arrogance to fuel a corporate boardroom. She didn't bother with hi or how was your trip. She jumped right into her lecture telling me lake access was for compliant members only, that my rentals were disruptive, that I was hurting the community's reputation. I stood there stunned, while the camera above us blinked red like it was recording every second for whatever tribunal she'd already planned. My keys jingled in my hand, but my stomach twisted as I realized she'd decided my fate before I even opened my mouth. Inside, the place felt different, heavy. My dad's photo on the wall tilted crooked, probably from the machinery they used to drill that gate into the dirt. Tire tracks cut across my yard. It wasn't just a barrier, it was a message. She was telling me, you don't belong here anymore. The cancellations started immediately. Guests couldn't reach the cabin, so they pulled out, demanded refunds, threatened bad reviews. Each one was a gut punch. This wasn't a hobby for me, it was my entire income. Without lake access, I might as well have been renting out a bunker. I tried to play it smart. I filed a formal complaint, asked for meeting minutes, purchase orders, contracts, anything that explained why this expensive professional-grade system had popped up overnight. Valerie's response came fast, dripping with condescension. She told me all documentation was available at the HOA office during business hours and suggested I reread the handbook on commercial restrictions. Translation, shut up and obey. But something didn't add up. The gate, the cameras, this wasn't some impulsive rule enforcement. This was coordinated, expensive, and designed to choke me out. The next blow came with a stack of violations. Wrong shed color, unauthorized deck, noise complaints, all filed within days, all signed by Valerie. Too neat, too precise, like she'd been stockpiling ammo while I was gone. Then came the emergency HOA meeting. Flyers slid under doors, glossy and professional, with my name plastered in bold red letters. They painted my quiet rental business as if I was running a Vegas resort. At the meeting, Valerie stood up in front of the crowd and made her pitch noise parking chaos. Strangers threatening children's safety, falling property values, all because of me. Neighbors nodded along, whipped into fear, and when she called for a vote, I was outnumbered. Short-term rentals banned until further review. I sat in the back, numb. They didn't care about facts about the veterans, teachers, and families who'd left glowing reviews. They only cared about Valerie's theater, and when the hands went up against me, I felt it, that crushing, hopeless weight in my chest. I went home and sat in my dad's old cedar chair, the same one he built from salvaged barnwood. For the first time, I thought about giving up. Maybe Valerie was right. Maybe I was the problem. Maybe fighting this was just going to drain me dry financially and emotionally until there was nothing left. I stared at the still water outside, now locked behind her steel barrier, and thought, what if I just walked away? That's when Owen showed up. He's a civil litigator, an old friend. He walked in with his leather briefcase and spread papers across my table like he was solving a crime scene. And honestly, that's exactly what it was. We dug through financial records, zoning reports, vendor receipts, and that's when we found it. Buried in a zoning report, Cedar. Rise Development, LLC, co-founded by none other than Valerie Knox. Suddenly, it clicked. This wasn't about noise complaints. This wasn't about community values. This was a land grab, pure and simple. Valerie wanted exclusive control of lake access to drive up property values for her development scheme. She was choking me out so she could cash in. The more we dug, the uglier it got. Emergency storm repair funds spent when no storm had hit in months. Contracts handed to companies owned by Valerie's family. Conflicts of interest everywhere. And then the smoking gun, a recording from Margaret, a neighbor who'd had enough. On her phone, Valerie's voice was clear as day. Lake exclusivity is our competitive advantage. Rentals undermine that. We just need to make it expensive enough for them to give up and leave. Hearing that her laugh when she said it made my blood boil. Court day came. Owen and I walked in with binders full of evidence. Receipts, bank statements, surveillance footage showing cameras pointed into private bedrooms, not public areas. We laid it all out for Judge Morrison. Piece by piece, we stripped Valerie's facade down to the rotten core. Her lawyer tried every trick, claimed my photos were doctored, objected on relevance, waved his hands about community peace. But when Margaret's recording played Valerie's own words admitting the scheme, you could feel the air shift. Residents who'd once glared at me now turned their eyes on her, seeing her not as a protector, but as a fraud. The judge didn't take long. Valerie and the HOA were found liable for deliberate fraud, abuse of authority, and financial misconduct. They were ordered to pay me $1.3 million in damages and fees. The gate had to be ripped out within 24 hours, the cameras dismantled within 72, and Valerie. Her assets frozen. Her reputation ruined, her power stripped. I'll never forget watching her face in that moment, her practiced smile finally gone, replaced with something she'd never shown before, fear. Maybe that's the real lesson here. Paperwork and fake authority don't make injustice legitimate, and bullies, no matter how powerful they seem, collapse the moment someone refuses to bow.